What in the world is going on with the amnesia of, and I love Daryl Morey, and I love NBA fans, and I love the NBA, but why do we continue to pretend like James Harden is going to change into a different human being than what he is? I believe it was the great Maya Angelou who once said, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time, or the second time, or the third time, and now possibly the fourth time. I feel like I'm watching Charlie Brown over and over again, and it's ridiculous, just running towards that football and it getting lifted up. And I don't understand what James Harden has done, what kind of charm he has, what it is that he's got on people that they continue to fall for this. I root for, I'm not against the guy. Look, there are obviously players in the league that I don't root for and I don't want to see succeed. And he's not really one of them. I don't have an opinion in that regard. I just don't understand it. Are you guys as shocked as I am that we continue to sort of do that? By the way, 13 months. This is the second team in 13 months. Like, this isn't, he didn't leave some weird team in the middle of nowhere and he wanted to go to the big city and see. No, he left Brooklyn, a team that he wanted to be at, but now saying that he didn't want to be at, to be in Philadelphia, another pretty decent sized city with a great fan base. I don't understand why we're allowing this to continue to happen and pretend like this time it'll be different. What am I missing?
Well,
I agree with you. Full stop. I know Gabe doesn't, so I'll start with that.
I remember being on this podcast and saying something to the effect of, I don't remember him ever being on a team that ever had any success. I think he's good, but makes teams worse. I said something to that effect, but they've won 2 games with him there. And I hear people like Kendrick Perkins comparing the two of them to Kobe and Shaq or Magic and Kareem. They scored more points as a trio with Tyrese Maxey in 2 games than like any trio ever. They're at the foul line all day long. Nobody can stop putting them there. I think it might be working.
The process is over.
This is what's wrong with humans, right? Like, we are supposed to be the most intelligent creatures on the planet. We've evolved. We can use our hands. We're great. We're great. But we're also supposed to have the ability to sort of process things that happen, learn from that, and possibly change what we do moving forward based on what we've learned. To me, this feels like you've got a couple. They've been married for a while. They go to couples counseling. They're saying, hey, you need to keep it fresh. You need to start going on dates. You're taking her for granted or vice versa. Put a little spark in it. Maybe plan something. And they do all that, right? You go to counseling. You do that for like the first month after counseling. And then it slowly dies again. And then you're back to where you started. That's what this is. This is the honeymoon phase. Now, do I think it helps a little bit possibly that Daryl Morey is there and for some reason there is a connection between the two? Maybe. But Joel Embiid is not the first superstar that James Harden has been next to. He's had Chris Paul. He had Russell Westbrook. He had Kyrie. He had Durant twice. Now, I'm not going to hold OKC against him. They were all very young, and that was just sort of an embryonic stage of these guys becoming what they are today. But he's had these chances, and he's burned those bridges. He had Dwight Howard in Houston. Dwight Howard opted out. There were rumors that he wanted him traded, and he wanted Kevin McHale fired. Kevin McHale got fired. Then he wants out of Houston. Before he gets Chris Paul. Rumors that they wouldn't even talk to each other after a while. This is all fun and games until it's not. Now, the problem here is I really like Joel Embiid. I like him as a player. I think he's fun to watch. I like when he talks. I think he's funny and he gets it. I like Daryl Morey. I just feel like they've hitched their wagon to a person who is not equipped or ready or able to take this thing to the next level. I didn't even realize, I was reading stories about James Harden. Like, I didn't realize that they would stay in cities because he was running the Rockets when he was there. And that was partly why I think Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook were sort of turned off by the whole thing, is that they saw how much he had them wrapped around his little finger. But they would stay in the cities overnight that James Harden liked. So you can imagine which fun cities those are. If he was anywhere near Vegas, he would fly there. And that's the thing. Like Dennis Rodman. Oh, Michelle, Dennis Rodman used to do that. Yes, he did. He also has 5 championships. Okay, so Dennis Rodman earned the right to do stuff like that because he showed up. I don't remember Dennis Rodman quitting in the middle of a playoff game to the point where the people announcing the game also noticed. I don't get it. There are people in life that we have them in our circles of friends that you just sort of go like, I don't get it. How does this person keep getting these chances? What is it I'm not seeing? And this is one of the biggest examples for me that it's a lot of smart people seem to keep getting duped by this guy. And now, if they win the whole thing this year, which no chance, but let's say they do, Do we have to just forget about all this stuff? Does his legacy now get to live on? Is that all that takes?
Well, he's already minted as a top 75 player of all time, isn't
Which
he?
is bull. That's stupid, by the way.
Are you saying, I'm going to make sure I have this right. Are you saying that a decade of tape and all kinds of reporting, all of that is not negated by him giving a funny look when Joel Embiid chugged some water? Is that what you're saying, Beadle?
I'm saying, didn't he also fall? Like, he fell off the chair or something?
Yes. Yes.
I think James Harden's like, fun guy. I bet it's super fun to party with him and go to those fun establishments with all these lovely people. I think it would be the most fun. I think he's probably hilarious to be around. Would I want him on my team if my team is trying to win a championship? No. The only saving grace that might work, and I say that hesitantly, is that they're picking him up with 20 games left in the season. This is the time that James Harden shines. It's that honeymoon phase, and they only have to have him be great for this one chunk of time. Maybe the timing works out. Maybe it is such that, like, I don't know. I mean, they'd certainly have to beat Brooklyn. Like, you certainly have to finish off better than Brooklyn did, because if you don't, then not just James Harden's legacy, but Daryl Morey's as well. They give up things. Like, when they were they gave up a lot to get James Harden in places, and it doesn't seem to pan out, and he doesn't seem to care. And when he's bored and doesn't want to be there anymore, he's going to leave, and you will have nothing to show for it once again.
Are you saying, Beadle, again, I need to clarify, that even though he and Joel Embiid took pictures of them lifting weights right after that Timberwolves win, you're not totally convinced of his work ethic? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I believe I am, Gabe. I believe I am. I am not convinced of his work ethic. He is not like the LeBron James, the Giannis, like those guys. Whether we wanted to or not, we know how much time and money and effort they put into their conditioning. We also know that James Harden does not. We've seen him come back. Although I still don't understand last time. Was it like a fat suit and then he took the fat suit off and then he was like ready to go underneath? I still don't really understand what we were seeing. It was like a weird optical illusion. I don't blame James Harden. I don't think your career should be everything that you are. I don't think James Harden eats, breathes, sleeps basketball like some people do. And I don't care. That's fine. I prefer a well-rounded human than a not. But let's not pretend that he does. Okay? Lifting a couple pounds and pretending that you love your team for the first day that you're there, that's not it. But hey, Philly fans, I hope for your sake this pans out, because I like the rest of your team.
Do you think part of it is that, like, he's not in on it with us? Like, he's not making fun of himself. Like, doesn't seem to be self-aware, at least.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, but you know why I don't think he can be? It's because he hasn't won it yet. Like, I think if you win it, again, I go back to Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman, like, that was the thing. Like, they joked about it. Like, he would get on a plane and, Jack Haley, whoever, would go with him and they'd fly to Vegas and then they'd meet him wherever. Because he could. And I think that if James Harden had that resume or those rings to back it up, even one ring, good Lord, at this point, then maybe he'd be able to laugh at himself a little bit more. But it's just still a little tense because you're doing all the things that somebody who's earned that right does, but you don't have the hardware to sort of back it up. And so he's kind of stuck in a weird position. Now, or maybe he just can't laugh at himself. He should, because there's a lot to laugh at, but I don't know yet. I have no idea. I just think this is
I've been mostly sarcastic this whole way through, but now I want to ask a genuine question.
That's not right.
I looked through like his record, and just we obviously know he puts up numbers for years. Is it possible? I don't believe this, but is it possible that he just is incredibly unlucky, and his prime happened to coincide with one of the greatest dynasties of all time in the Warriors? And then he bumps into people like Joel Embiid and some others. Like, he's just never gotten past teams that were all-time great. And is it possible that, like, we hold him to an unfair standard because he played at a time where how the hell were you going to get out of the West?
Well, it wasn't even just getting out of the West. Look, I specifically remember the Spurs series, and it was Game 6, and it was a remarkable thing to watch. Like, I remember him dribbling down, and it was like he gave up. Like, I remember I used to run track and I won the 800 meter. And one time this girl was starting to pass me and I just quit. I literally stopped my parents were like, oh, that's it. Because they knew, like, I'm a quitter. I was a quitter in a sore sport, and I quit track that following Monday. Like, that was what I saw. I was like, he just quit. Because he was like, oh, we're not going to win. I've been out partying. I'm tired, this, that, and the other. It's when they were doing all the playing every single game, which I always thought was kind of stupid. I was like, why would you rather be the guy who played every game versus the guy who goes long in the playoffs? But yeah, that's just me. He's had the pieces. He's been around the pieces that should at least have taken him a little bit further. No, I'm not going to give him that excuse. Because he's also had the pieces that he demanded at times and the situations that he demanded at times. And so at some point you have to have accountability. You can't have this list of accolades that you have and all the things that you've done in sixth man and this and that scoring and then have nothing to show for it. Like, I don't think his legacy is good right now, but I seem to be in the minority because every time I hear people talking about it, it's a lot of like gushing and this is the best and this is going to work. And I'm just sort of sitting here like, am I the asshole? Because I don't think it's going to work. But well, maybe I am.
Me neither. But another counter argument, I guess, would be, so I'm curious what you think of this. Well, yeah, but, a lot of those great players he played with, they were guys on the perimeter. They were guards. They were guys who needed the ball in their hand. Smarter people could come up with the arguments. This is a case where, as absurd as a Shaq-Kobe comparison is, sorry, Kendrick Perkins, I get it because it's guy who holds the ball and big man, and they can do some pick and roll stuff, and they can sort of share the court better, at least from a layperson's perspective. So is there anything to that? Maybe just like...
Well, he had Dwight Howard. He had Dwight Howard.
Yeah, that's
and he had a good version of Dwight Howard. And that couldn't even work. Like, Dwight Howard comes with his own set of baggage and drama that we've all witnessed through the years. And a lot of people think sometimes a lot of that sort of took him away from how great he really is as like a physical player. And we got very distracted by everything off the court. But he had Dwight Howard for 3 seasons. Yeah. Like, I just think he just rubs people the wrong way eventually. And when that happens, it's sort of like a light goes on. Everybody wants to leave the room. It's like it's over. And so I think the timing for the Sixers might be the only positive in this entire thing. Because like I said, you only need him for a short period of time to just go in there and be great and take care of business. So yeah, if that's what people are looking at for this as to quote unquote work, maybe. But if it's a long-term, yeah, he's going to team up with Joe. I mean, also his next contract's going to be for $7 bazillion. Mm-hmm. That's ridiculous. So like, good luck. Good luck to anyone who has to pick that up and wants to do that. But they will. God, I love the NBA. It's fantastic. Sports. Hashtag. That's my James Harden take. I spent the weekend just confused because people I respect and like and follow and just one after another, like, oh, this could be it. This might work. I'm like, but based on what? No history. That's for damn sure.
So if they win, what's the bet here? What will we do? What will you do if they win?
I will get a James Harden tattoo on my forehead.
Great.
I will get
clip it.
A stack of dollar bills tattooed somewhere on my body. No, I look, like I said, I really like Joel Embiid, and if they pull it off, then I will be very happy for him and Daryl Morey and Tobias Harris. Like I like them. I would like to be proven wrong. Put it that way. Like, I don't want to be right here, guys. Being right a lot is not.
Maybe the whole rest of the team is like too cool, like Matisse Thybulle, like they're too great that they needed a villain, and that'll be the difference maker for them.
They definitely have one now. They definitely have. And by the way, that's the thing about James Harden too. He's not like actively disliked. There are players that just actively dislike. They sort of make a physical reaction happen when you see their face, yada yada. I don't think he's that guy. I just don't want him on my team. That's it. It's just that simple. I'd be sad if the Spurs ever had him.
Yeah.
Hey, you mentioned Matisse. Do we know where he got his pizza from? He posted a picture of himself in a Subway eating pizza.
I haven't seen it, no.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, shoot, they're down. God, it's probably one. It could be like what is it, Joe's Pizza?
I'm worried he went Michael Scott and was like, hey, let me take you to my favorite
place.
Don't
say it.
Yeah. He was in Midtown at the Garden. I'm just a little worried that he didn't know where to go.
Oh, my God, I hope not. Well, isn't there some stuff down in Penn Station,
there's some grimy by the slice stuff down there. You might do all right, but you could also fall for the 2 for $2 thing that's all around there, and those are disgusting. So
no, well, he paid for it later if that's what he did, and I think we all know that's true. Okay, well, I feel like we've talked about James Harden, you guys.